So again, if a door opens, it's because it's supposed to open and it's meant for me, meant for me to walk through that door. And if it closes, it's because that wasn't meant for me, but it might open up another door that I am meant to kind of walk through. And I've had so many examples throughout my life that actually showed that.
Hey friends, and welcome to GoFor10. Our goal with this show and company is to bring you the actionable knowledge, the how-tos, so that you can take action and have faster success and happiness in your life and business. We are confident that what we share works because we only interview the people who have actually done it, since the fastest way for you to get to the next level in your personal and professional life is to follow the people who have been there and done it. Our expert guests fearlessly challenge the status quo and outdated paradigms to achieve results that are way beyond the average. So stay tuned to today's episode if you want to develop the right mindset and to be able to break all the barriers as you go for 10 in any area of your life. Okay, so the theme for International Women's Day 2021 is Choose the Challenge. And our guest today has certainly challenged the status quo when it comes to equality for women. She's created history by becoming the first athlete to sign a multi-million-dollar contract with the Women's Football League in the United States. She's also made history by becoming the first female athlete to own her own sneaker company called Tronus. She's a published author, fitness model, TV personality, and a TV host. At the age of 2, a physician said her body was built for running, and she's been running ever since, signing on to that track program at the age of 7. The queen of abs, welcome Santia Deck. Welcome,
Hello.
Santia.
How are you?
I'm great. So happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
And the theme this year is Choose to Challenge. And, I know a lot of people have been doing their declarations about choosing to challenge. And I know that you have been, doing that for years. And so what would you say to the women out there about, what does Choose to Challenge mean to you and how they can go about choosing to challenge?
Well, for me, I think it's always been about just challenging the system, challenging, people that feel like there are barriers or limitations when it comes to what a woman can do. And for me, I've kind of, always done my own thing. I've kind of always, done things that people told me, wasn't possible or, might not be in my lane per se. And I feel like that's kind of what it means to me, breaking barriers, breaking through glass ceilings, and doing it with a smile.
Okay, absolutely. And you always do stuff with a smile. So how, there are obviously challenges, and that's what we're trying to help to break. So what would you say would be some of the tools or the mindset that you would have used to help you break through when, people may have been saying, no, what are you doing? Are you crazy?
Yeah. Well, for me, it always starts with, knowing who I am. So the fact that I'm very confident in myself, and I kind of know what it is I'm capable of, despite what other people may feel. I know that, I can go above and beyond, what others think. And also me being very spiritual, I kind of also use that as well when it comes to everything in my life, because I feel like at the end of the day, if I have Christ, I can do anything. Okay. So for me, that's kind of what I've always used in my life, and then having a great support system and things like that. So I can say that I kind of use a few things, to be honest.
Okay. I'm glad that you spoke about the support system, because I think so many people, try to do things on their own. And I think a lot of the systems in society wants to make us feel that, we have to do it on our own to be considered a success. So can you share the importance of a support system? And for someone like you, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I didn't have the type of support that I've had since I was a child, I don't think I would be the same person. My support system started when I was born, pretty much, because I was born into a family that is very supportive. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. both of my parents very much poured into me and my siblings. They always told us we could fly, we were capable of anything, we were great. And, just all these really positive affirmations that we heard all the time, which obviously that made us into very confident adults. Okay. So that's kind of where it started for me. But then going into adulthood and, being a business owner, being an athlete, having a team around me has been really the only reason why I've been able to do everything that I've been able to do, because there's no way that as a athlete, I would have been able to start a business, and I would have been able to do all the things that I'm doing on top of staying on top of training and making sure I'm eating right and, all these other things, recovery. So my support system is, of course, is my family. My mom is my biggest supporter. She's also my manager. And then I have assistants, I have PRs, I have attorneys, I have the whole nine. And without them, I honestly don't think, again, it would have been possible to get this far.
Okay, absolutely, guys. And if you're listening, so important to have a support system. And within that support system, Santia, would you have had a mentor or a coach, so to speak, outside of athletics, let's just say, or sport?
Honestly, I would say my mom is probably my mentor, because she has done a lot in her life, and she's been the one that has kind of guided me and helped me, build the businesses that I have right now. And also my stepfather as well. Again, having those two people in my life that have been very successful in what they've done. I just got lucky because they're my parents. So they pour a lot into me. They don't give me anything, but they definitely they help me as much as they can and give me the knowledge and things like that. So yeah, definitely my parents.
Okay. Well, that's, you're very fortunate, because, what our show is all about and what we preach really is that in order to get to a certain level of success, the fastest way is to follow the people who have actually been there and done it. So you're extra lucky having your parents having had that success and being right there for you. And as we were talking about your mom, I was, preparing for the interview, getting like the backstory sometimes. And so, I know the physician said, this 2-year-old has a buddy for running. So did your mom push you? Or is it something that you started to do and you actually fell in love with it, or both?
It was honestly both, because of course, if a doctor tells you that about your child, you're probably going to listen. Okay. So when I was old enough, me and my twin brother were old enough to get into track, she did put us in it. And honestly, at first we didn't like it, just because we weren't used to the intensity, obviously, being 7 years old. But I eventually fell like head over heels in love with track, and it became like my life. So I'm thankful that the doctor told my mom that, and I'm thankful that my mom listened to the doctor and actually put us in track.
Absolutely. So I know, you've been told no many times, and, as you say, stay in your lane. Are you crazy? So, and I'm sure, just for the listeners out there who want to take the inspiration from this, what was your self-talk like to counter all of the no's? This program is really about also how to, people, I want people to leave with, practical tips. You listen to this and you could actually go and do something. So, if people are telling you no, if they're putting you into a box or creating a glass ceiling over you, what's that self-talk like, to be able to break that and to give you the emotional strength to go through that?
For me, it always, the conversation is always, starting with, I'm capable of anything. Okay. I am anything that is are given to me, or not given to me, but any opportunity that comes my way is because it's supposed to. So I feel like everything is already written. And if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And so for me, I always keep that in the back of my head, even if opportunities don't work out. Then it's like, okay, that just wasn't meant for me at that time, and it's for another reason. So I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe God is always leading us on, down the path that we're supposed to go, and He doesn't make any mistakes. So again, if a door opens, it's because it's supposed to open, and it's meant for me to walk through that door. And if it closes, it's because that wasn't meant for me, but it might open up another door that I am meant to kind of walk through. And I've had so many examples throughout my life that actually showed that. And I'm a true believer in what's meant for me is going to be mine. Yeah. Whether I make a left turn on accident or go down the wrong road, I'm always going to be led to where I'm supposed to be at the end of the day. So I don't believe that. I don't believe in failure. I believe in you know, I guess making a wrong turn or going down a wrong road. But I don't believe in like you failed and that's it. You know, you learn from it. So for me, when things don't go my way, I'm just like, okay, what did I learn from this? How can I dissect this and make it make sense so that I can make, you know, a better decision next time? And I think you have to always look at the positive side of things, and I'd always just like, oh my gosh, this didn't happen. This was a failure. It didn't go the way I wanted it to. No, it didn't go the way you wanted it to because there's something better, and that just wasn't meant for you. So that's just how I look at things.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know that there are people who you know, take the notion of, you know, what will be, and so sometimes there are two sort of negative connotations to that. One is sometimes people wait around for something to happen, and secondly, what I find happens is, as well, is when that door is open, a lot of people think it should be easy because this is the way it ought to go. But so do you want to talk about the importance of action and the importance of, you know, stick-to-itiveness, and when to know when to quit? Let's just say if you open that door and it just doesn't seem to be, you know, working out, and still having the faith to follow on another path. I know I probably asked you like 3 questions there.
No. Okay. So I always believe that there has to be action behind prayer. So if you pray for something to happen, or if you want something to happen, that doesn't mean you just sit around and just say, okay, I know it's going to happen, so I'm just going to not try to do anything or put any effort into actually manifesting that. I also believe in manifestation. So I feel like you have to do the work so that you can get the end goal. So for me, for example, like, you know, I have been manifesting. I've manifested my house, you know, but also, I didn't just sit there and say, okay, I really want this house. I want this house. I want this house so bad. I was like, okay, I really want this house. I know I'm going to find a house. So let me go out and do research and go look at houses and go talk to different real estate agents so that I can find the house. And it took 2-3 months. And I was like, okay, I want to give up, but I know I'm supposed to have this house. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep fighting for this house. And then when I was literally about to just say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to wait till next year. I'm just not even going to think about it anymore. That's when I found the perfect house and it came to be. But I didn't just sit there and say, okay, I'm going to wait for somebody to say, hey, I have this house for you. It doesn't work like that. You have to go and still put in action and go, you know, put in effort and things like that. So there has to be, you know, action behind, you know, everything that you're doing. And I know you asked 2 more questions and I kind of forgot.
Yeah, well, I think you answered it there in your answer in terms of, you know, being able to take action. But well, the second question is about, you know, when do you know, you know, to give up, so to speak. But you know, I read a little bit, or a lot actually, on manifestation and the law of attraction, and what you said there was so powerful. At the moment that you decide to give it up is when it actually, you know, manifests. When you know, you sort of detach from it is when it actually happens. Is that something that you would have experienced with the various manifestations that you would have had?
Oh man, all the time. Like it's really like things always happen when you're not really focused on it sometimes. So you can always, you know, still visualize it and still see it as it already has happened, things like that. But that doesn't mean to obsess over it every second of the day, because that's also, you know, not what you're supposed to do either. So I think sometimes like thinking of like, you know, visualizing, writing it down, speaking it out loud, and then kind of letting it go into the universe and like, you know, allow God to do what he's going to do. That's also part of manifestation. So I feel like how you will know if it's not meant for you is if it just never happens. You know, if you're like going throughout life and you've said, okay, hey, this is what I want. You know, I really want this job, you know, but, you know, unfortunately, maybe somebody else gets a job, then you'll know, okay, maybe that wasn't meant for me, but I'm still going to get a job. It might just not be this exact one. Yeah. So, you know, you just have to realize when it's not meant for you. And sometimes that is hard to you know, figure out, but you'll know.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess it gets easier with practice, you would say.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. And it's just about having the patience, you know, and, you know, I love what you talk about imagination and visualization, because I listened to an interview you had with your brother, William, recently.
Yeah,
and I was really, you know, touched by what he said and how he said it. And, you know, I'm going to repeat it for all the listeners out there. You know, what you think you feel and what you feel you imagine, and what you imagine you become. So I was going to ask you how much you use imagination and visualization to achieve success, but I think you've answered me.
Oh,
yeah.
It's everything. It's everything. It's a part of my daily routine now. And honestly, I learned that recently from my brother. At first, I'm not going to say I didn't believe in manifestation, but I think it was just something that I never practiced.
Okay.
But when I remember we had a family conversation right before the new year, and he had said some profound things to us on a family call. And I was like, wow, this is that missing piece of like knowledge that I needed to kind of propel me into, you know, where I feel like I should be. And I've been using and utilizing everything that he's been saying to me. And when I tell you it works, it really, really does work. Like, seriously.
Yeah. So I know there are a lot of people who probably don't believe in it, probably a little bit woo-woo. So, you know, what were your thoughts about it before you believed in it, so that we could sort of relate to the people who can connect with you know, that point when you didn't believe? Because I think that there are a lot of people out there who don't still believe in manifestation, the law of attraction, and our power to imagine, visualize, and to create.
Yeah. So, I mean, before I really got into it, I just was like, okay, so pretty much that means it's prayer. But, you know, and I was like, okay, I already do that. You know, I already pray all the time and different things like that. So what is different? But the piece that I was missing behind the prayer was, okay, if I really want this opportunity bad enough, I need to already feel like I'm already living that, like it's already happened. Like it's, you know, it's not past tense, or it's not something that, not past tense, but it's not something that has not already happened. Yeah. So what I do now, and what I feel like is the missing key to manifestation that people sometimes forget, is the imagination part. You know, so instead of saying like, okay, hey, I really want this, you know, I would love to, I'm going to be in this house. This is the house that I'm in. But also, like, when you, like, the feeling that you would have when you open up the door to your new home, make sure that when you're when you're visualizing that and imagining that you're feeling those feelings like it's already there. And I feel like that's sending such a powerful signal into the universe, and even, you know, into God as well, that, hey, this is mine. I've already claimed it. It's already here. It's already written. So we need to make it happen. So it's just like almost just like another like push that you're putting into the world, and you're bringing that energy back to you. So I feel like that's what I've been doing. And it's crazy how I went from not believing in manifestation so much to now I'm like an advocate for it. So it's like, you know, I tell everybody about it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, one of the, I guess, the difficulties that I've heard people have in terms of imagination and visualization is exactly what you said about, you know, feel the feeling. So usually, you know, we want to manifest something that we have not had or don't have right now. So how do we get that feeling of something that, you know, we don't know how to feel and experience? Is that where, you know, for example, going with the realtors, you know, going to see the homes and going into it so that you can actually experience what it feels like to go into the home, so that you know what it is, as opposed to just sitting down literally and trying to drum up this emotion, this feeling?
Well, yeah. So I do think that is definitely part of it, for sure. But for example, if I want to be a billionaire, I don't know what it's like to be a billionaire, but I can sit here and say, okay, if I was a billionaire right now, and I was able to travel 100 times a year, how would that make me feel? And then how would that emotion feel? How would I feel right now when I'm getting on that airplane going to Dubai for the first time, and then knowing I'm going to be going to New Zealand in the next day? How would I feel? What emotion would I be feeling as I'm walking through the airport? We can all imagine how that feels. So I might know exactly how it feels, but I can visualize and I can imagine, okay, I'm pretty sure I will be extremely happy. I would have my family around me. I would have my friends around me. We will be, you know, with our glasses on and just walking there. You know, I'm sure I could visualize what it would be like. We can all do that. So that's not something that we lack, because we're human. So you just have to be able to just feel a feeling that you know you will feel.
Wow. Amazing stuff there, guys. This is, you know, You're hearing it from someone who's practiced it and living it. And that's what the Go for 10 show is about. Now, Santia, you did a degree in English, but you felt a calling to do more for women, to participate in sports that were primarily dominated by men. So, what is that calling like? What is that experience like? Just for the benefit of people who are out there and may have a calling in life and may not know how to deal with it, or maybe even spot it, as the case may be. What would you say, and what was your experience like with that, and what gave you the confidence to pursue that? So what does that calling, or knowing feel like or look like?
Well, honestly, I didn't really imagine that I was going to be actually playing, football and rugby, which are two obviously very male dominated sports. Yeah. But kind of like everything else in life, it was a door that opened and I just took it. And I was looking at that time, I was on track and field. So I was looking for something to kind of fill that void of no longer being a track and field runner. And I came across a flag football practice sign. And I just went. I tried out and I did really, really well. And that kind of started my football career, which led to rugby, which led to now tackle football. But being in this world, it's a double-edged sword, because it's like it's awesome doing something and breaking barriers and going against the grain and different things like that, and doing things that women aren't supposed to do. But of course, you have the people that don't want you to be in this space because you are a woman, because they feel like you're not supposed to be here, or whatever they feel. So for me, it's like I had to have thick skin, and I also had to understand that this is what I signed up for. So everybody's not going to like you, everybody's not going to be happy, but this is what God had put you on this earth to do. Then you just have to kind of go with it and just know that, okay, I have to deal with this, but it's part of my journey. Yeah. And so for me, I feel like I'm open. This is going, like, I'm kind of taking the whips and the lashes for the women that may want to follow behind me, because, I'm pioneering this thing, me and of course all the other women that's playing this new league as well. So it's just part of what comes with it. Anybody that's starting something new, that stepped into a new space, it's not always going to be just, rainbows and sunshine. You have to go through the bad times and the hard times and the tough times. So, that's just part of it.
Okay, I think that's absolutely critical, Santia, because a lot of people, I believe that we all have a calling. I don't know if you share that same belief. Yes. And many times I say to people, I said, look, you're just going to have to, step through the door, as you said, because I think, what I say to people is he's not necessarily going to put up a big neon sign that you can't miss to say, this is the way. And sometimes people get that calling and, they go and pray again to see, is it really that? So yeah, it's so critical. I guess the most important thing of what you're saying there is to really take action, do something. And even if you end up on the wrong path, so to speak, just understand that, that's just part of life and growth and learning, learning what not to do, exactly. So that's critical. So you did also say that self-love is self-care. So what does that look like in a practical sense? So let's speak to the woman about, loving yourself and self-care. What do you do, for your self-care and self-love?
Yeah, so I do a number of things. Of course, like, the getting massages, going to the spa, getting my nails and hair done, things like that. But also taking time to just kind of self-reflect. I listen to a lot of like podcasts. I read a lot of like self-help books as well. And I also just have like times where I go on like a random like solo trip where I'm just chilling out by myself and just enjoying my own company. And I feel like that's part of just, recharging, because I feel like whether you're a man or a woman, there's sometimes, at some point in your life, you need to unplug, whether that means going to the beach and just sitting by the ocean, or if that means, booking a hotel down the street from your own home so that you can just have that solitude where it's just you and your thoughts. But I feel like it's important to take time out to kind of self-reflect and just say, hey, okay, am I okay? How is my spirit doing? How is my mental, how am I mentally? Where am I mentally? Where am I emotionally? Do I need to like maybe get some counseling? Like whatever it may be, I think you have to just kind of like do a self-check sometimes. And so that's kind of what I call self-love. And also just, again, just kind of standing firm in who you are and not allowing anybody to make you compromise who you are or your beliefs in different things like that. I consider that self-love as well. When I can say, hey, no, this does not make me feel comfortable. This to me is going to morally affect me because this is not what I believe in, and I'm not going to go that direction. I think that's considered self-love as well.
Okay. Wow, absolutely. And I know you have a lot of stuff going on. So do you use like a scheduler to deliberately schedule those activities so that you make sure it gets done? So like, you know, you sort of prioritize, what am I going to do for Santia? What I'm going to do with respect to my health, you know, my relationships, my training, my business. Is that how you're organized?
Kind of. I mean, I try, like, I try to like not book anything on the weekends.
Okay.
Usually because like, that's when I have games, but weekend, like Saturdays is usually when I'm like, you know, doing my Bible study, and that's my Sabbath and everything like that. That's also when I try to just relax and really unwind. So I'm trying to like now book, you know, close out Saturday and Sunday so I can have that extra day to where I can like, you know, recover and different things like that. But it doesn't always go that way because, of course, you know, the way life is set up, the business is set up, sometimes you have things to do. But if I do, then I'm like, okay, hey, I know Monday, that needs to be the day where I kind of like block everything off.
Yeah.
So I try to make time, definitely now more, since quarantine, it just has you thinking about, okay, what's really important. So now I know that, hey, I have to take time out for myself and time out to spend with my family and different things like that, because to me, that's what matters more than anything else.
Absolutely. So what was your inspiration to start Tronus, your shoe company, sneaker company? What was the inspiration behind that? And tell us a little bit about the design.
Yeah,
so it was really interesting, funky.
Oh, thank you. So Tronos, you know, for me, when I started this company, it was all about knowing that if it became successful, that I was going to be solidifying generational wealth. I was going to be solidifying a legacy. I was going to be leaving something for, you know, my future children and their children and their children. So it was all about just, you know, preparing solidifying the comfort of my children and you know, generations after that. So that was the main thing for me. Also, it was, you know, showing women and just people in general that, okay, literally anything is possible. This is a male-dominated industry. There's not really any women that's in the shoe company industry. So I know that I was going to be breaking another glass ceiling. And I just wanted to show people that, okay, again, this is possible. You can look at me and see that I'm a real person and see that, okay, I've done this. Is it easy? No. But is it possible? Yes. With hard work, dedication, prayer, support system, and all the other things, anything is possible in manifestation. You know, knowing that it can happen for you, knowing that it's not too big of a dream. You know, and that's kind of the attitude that I have about everything. I'm just like half asleep, guys. So excuse me for like all the words that I'm not pronouncing right. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of how I felt about that. And then as far as the design, my personal brand is called Queen of Abs. And if people know who I am, they know that I'm kind of like I'm a unicorn because I'm very feminine. I love heels. I love makeup. I love all things girly, but then I'm very much a tomboy because I love sneakers. I'm an athlete and, you know, blah, 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 play video games. So I wanted to show something. I wanted my design to kind of like reflect me. So I wanted to be like versatile. Yeah. So as far as the design, I was like, okay, I wanted to be very, very comfortable, very cute, a nice little design. But I also want it to be a performance shoe so they can go out there and work out and jump and run and different things like that. And that's kind of what we did with the actual shoe. And as far as the designs, the colors, you know, I wanted it to be something that popped out.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be so unique that it's like, okay, I know that that's Tronos. That's definitely not a Nike. That's definitely not an Under Armour shoe, but that is a Tronos shoe. And that's kind of what we did.
Okay, I think you definitely hit the mark with that one because it's definitely different, and it was so you know, really good to hear you say that it's functional, because my first thought was, you know, what can I do with this? Can I do everything? Can I run? Can I jump? Can I exercise with it? So that's really amazing, and I love the sprinkles of gold because the GoFor10 colors are gold. So you know, love that, and I think you really were able to execute on your idea perfectly. It's absolutely unique. So you recently launched your fitness app. So tell us about it. What's unique and different, and what can people look forward to if they were to get your new app? Do you have a name for it, and where can people get it?
Yeah, so the app is called Coach Queen of Abs, and pretty much it is it's just a fully like loaded app because everything is very custom, so you can customize everything. So It's not an app that you go on there, you click on workouts, and then it gives you these basic plans that everybody's doing at the same time. You can literally go in there and say, hey, I would love to gain muscle mass, but I want to make sure that I'm also not getting too big, but I also want to make sure that I'm not like gaining fat in my stomach area. So you can really customize it to where like you can literally create whatever body goals that you may have. Same thing with your diet. If you want a keto diet, if you want a pescatarian diet, a vegan, but you want to gain weight, then you can also have that, as well, so everything is very much catered to you. And then there's also like, where you can, like, if you don't like peanut butter, but that might be part of the bulking, meal plan, then you can say, hey, I don't like peanut butter. And then we will replace peanut butter with something else that can give you the same exact results. So it's catered to you. And there's a community where you can go in and say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm having trouble today. And then you have all these people saying, hey, me too, but this is what I'm doing. So you have a support system. I have videos where, it's talking about how to get through the hard times, the hard days where you don't want to work out, motivational videos, dealing with depression during quarantine. So it's all like, it's not just about just the physical, and your diet. It's also about the mental part, because you can have all the intentions in the world of like gaining weight and muscle mass, but if you feel like, hey, I might not be able to do this, then you're probably not going to do it. So you need something that's going to help motivate you every day. So I have that for you as well. So it's like so many different things on the app. I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing that was lacking. Like, you would have everything in this app so that you can become the best version of yourself and reach your goals and not have any issues. So that's kind of what I tried to create.
Oh, well, I certainly look forward to it, and I'll put up my hand that I'm Shane Ram, and for 2-3 years now, I've been trying to lose 1 inch around my stomach area. Everywhere else is slim, but I just can't, get there. So I'll probably, jump on the app and see how it's, going to help me.
You should. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Okay. So, final question. You speak about spirituality earlier. Do you consider yourself intuitive? And if so, how can someone out there listening develop their intuition?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that comes with being spiritual, because you just have that, you develop that. And as far as like, how do you develop that? It's a big part of just, again, kind of like knowing who you are, and knowing like what it is you're set out to do in this life. And I feel like intuition leads everybody for the most part. You might not realize it, but you can walk into a room and see that, okay, this crowd looks a little dangerous, so it might not be a place I should be. And then you kind of get that gut feeling like, hey, that is probably not the place to be. Let's run. And that's what I call your intuition. And then sometimes, I feel like you might have to develop it more depending on just who you are, your personality. Because if you tend to be just like a very trusting person, then it might be a little bit harder to, realize that, okay, maybe this is my intuition, not me just being, mean or whatever. So I feel like it's something that comes with time. It comes with listening and knowing yourself. It comes with, practice, maybe that may be like reading up on it. If you're a spiritual person, praying about it, praying for guidance for intuition. But I do feel like it's something that everybody can attain, but it might just be different levels of how to do that. So,
okay. Well, I just said, thought to myself, this has just been so much information, and in such a short space of time. And my whole idea behind the show, Santia, and I hope that this show becomes part of your legacy of, what you leave in the world to help so many other people, because that's what our show is about and company is about, is to really interview the people who have been there and done it, so that I think the fastest way to success is to get it from from the people who have actually been there and done it, and to create a channel where, there's a lot of stuff out there, with the internet, billions and billions of bytes of information, but how do people sort through it and get to the things that actually work? So I'm super grateful to you for spending the time today and sharing your nuggets that have led to your extreme success. And I want to wish you all the best as you go forward and continue breaking those glass ceilings.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Santia. And thanks again, guys, for tuning in to today's Go for 10 show. And remember, don't ever settle. Go for 10.